Marriage is only institution that is complex for human to understand. People have gone to school to study. They have done masters for counseling. People have come up with many ideas, with books, with articles, only to try to solve the issue in the marriages. But can I tell you one thing? No one has ever succeeded to write a book or an article that can solve the issues in marriage completely. People has masters in counseling to deal with marriages, but you find out even themselves in their marriages, they have problems, and it is beyond them to solve. This is a question that no one has ever been able to answer. Do you know, even right now as we are talking, many courts in the world are processing the divorce papers. And many churches right now and the government institution are also joining people to come together in marriage. People are marrying today and tomorrow they are no longer together. And you can ask yourself this question: why is this happening? You know, Satan is also shrewd and wise in his own understanding, quote unquote. But one thing that he knows that he can sit on humans' way is through marriages. And that's why if there is one institution that the devil fights, is marriage. You may wonder, why would one person marry today and tomorrow feel like I am tired with you, not a person like you that I wanted to marry, and then he see another person that he wants to marry? You know, hizi vitu hazijaanza leo. Even in our ancient days, they were there. Divorce out of lust, and you go to marry another person out of self-interest. Remember a woman by the name Herodotus. She divorced her husband, Philip, and go and marry the step-brother to Philip, called the Herod the Great. So si kitu kimeanza leo, si kitu tutasema ya kwamba tunaweza tukadili nayo kwa sababu ilianza leo. This question has disturbing people, and that's why you see even the Pharisees and the scribes came to Jesus to ask this same question: is it permissible for a man to divorce a wife? One thing that is not clear in that statement, in that question, is this: these people came to test Jesus to ask that question, but one thing they missed, it is the idea of the reason. That is it permissible for one to divorce his wife? The question that I would ask myself, why? Because just imagine if Jesus would have said yes, and people now take advantage of that yes to divorce anyhowly, even though today as we are talking, people are divorcing anyhow. People would have been divorcing, marrying today, tomorrow you are getting a certificate of divorce, and then you marry another wife, continually that way. But Jesus, in his answer, he told them, what does the command say? They told Jesus, Moses permitted us to have divorce and have a certificate of divorce. And you can see the idea of human, because there is no reason, there is no concrete reason in whatever they are saying, but the idea of permission, that Moses permitted us to do this thing, that one can divorce and marry another. But Jesus told them, in another scripture that Moses permitted you to do so because of your stiff nakedness. Nyinyi ni vichwa ngumu. But in the God's idea, there is no thing like divorce. Because in the blueprint of God, when God is creating man, He created man and female, them together so that they can live together. And so in the idea of God, there is no divorce. That's what Jesus wanted them to see. And now the secret that I want to give you today is this. When you go to the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse number 26, God says, let us create human in our own image, in our own likeness. And Bible continue to say, and He created them. Now, understand this. This is where the secret is. That God idea in His blueprint is to create a human. And then in that creation, in that statement of God, human is singular. Let us create a human in our own image and likeness. But going forward in verse 26b, He says, and let us give them. You see, now it has gone now beyond singular to plural. Let us create them and give them the dominion. You see, that now is in creation. It is in the blueprint of God. Now coming to Genesis chapter 2 and verse number 7, the Bible says, and God formed man from the dust of the ground. Now, there is no woman there. He says He formed man from the dust of the ground. In the creation, they are two. In the blueprint, they are two. But now in the formation, God formed only man. It is until Genesis 2:21 where we see now God coming and say, this man actually cannot stay together, cannot stay alone. He need a helper. And God did not go ahead and create another person from the dust of the ground. No. God caused the man to sleep. And He performed the first surgery. Surgery ya kwanza ilifanywa na Mungu. He performed the first surgery and He removed the rib from the man. And from that rib, He created Eve. You see, now this is where the secret is. That woman came out from man. And so this is one person, but in the equation, there is no 1 + 1 = 2. In the equation of God, 1 + 1 is 1. No wonder Bible says ya kwamba one will leave his parent and another will leave her mother. Go and join together and become one flesh. This is the idea behind that. Whenever you feel like you want to marry and you see a girl and you propose to that girl, what comes there is that you have found your missing rib, because alone you are incomplete. Don't try to tell me ya kwamba single is enough. No, single is enough but incomplete, because whether you are a girl, a lady, or a man, and you are alone, you are incomplete. I've ever heard people saying ya kwamba marriage is a scam, but the reason of the marriage becoming a scam, they don't give you. And that tells you ya kwamba people fear the responsibility in the marriage, because now when you become one, there is a production, there is a reproduction, and the reproduction, you will have babies, you will have, a lot of bills now to cater. Now that's where now the responsibility is coming in. And because now people fear this responsibility, they say ya kwamba marriage is a scam, but they don't give you the reason why the marriage is a scam. Let us go ahead. Now, because man alone is incomplete, he need to be completed. He need a helper to be completed. And a helper is a woman, not a man. A man cannot complete a man because two men are two incomplete elements. But now these two incomplete elements coming together and saying ya kwamba they are marrying each other is a stupidity of the highest order. Because you need a woman, you need a female for a female to complete a male. And so a man is male, understand this, but the woman is female. And so a man needs a female for him to be completed, because alone he is not complete. And so the idea of God is that you come together as one, as woman and man, you come together, you make one element and you complete a home. That's why you see, because it is the idea of God, the devil, Satan, is trying to fight it every day, now and then. Do you know, Bible says ya kwamba whoever has found a woman, not a woman actually, whoever has found a wife has found a good thing. Now, the Bible here does not speak about woman, speaks about wife. And so there is difference between woman and wife, because now when a woman complete a man and become a one component, now the title changes. There is a value that has been added, and this value is that this man has been added a title husband, and this woman has been added a title wife. And so together they add and they complete each other to add the value in them. And now this husband and wife become now an element to do a reproduction, now to continue now to fill the world. And so the dominion that these two are given in Genesis chapter 1 and verse number 26 cannot be seen unless they come together. That's where now the dominion is found, because now you have completed the blueprint and the creation of God. No wonder Bible says for them to complete each other, for them now to complete and bring the conformity of God's idea, you go to the book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse number 22. Going down, the Bible says ya kwamba wives submit to your husband. And going down there, the Bible continue to say ya kwamba, and you men love your wives. That's why you see these two people cannot work in as one, you know, as a single component. One is emotional, this another is as a what we call the word is going is visual. One is emotional and another is visual. Visual must act with logical, but now emotion must act with submission. That's why them coming together as two component and as one component, I mean, there must be a submission and love to complete this one element. If that one thing is that you don't find it there, then there is no marriage. And that's why you see, that's where the fight is. That's where the battle is in the marriages, because tuna fight the battle that we don't understand the idea behind it. The idea behind it ni kwamba the devil knows that when he break this one component to become two separate two component, then there is no dominion. You can't find the dominion. Ile ambayo Mungu amekuahidi the dominion in the book of Genesis, it is difficult to find it when you are two. That's why you see today, because of this battle, people are living like partners, like colleagues, not like one component. People are living together because they are paying bills. They want to pay rent half-half. They want to pay bills half-half in one home. And now you see the children you have are not now admiring how you are living, because you are living as two separate entities. It is not one entity. And that's why you see, because of children growing into that confliction entities, now going forward, they say, I can't marry. I can't be married. I don't know if this thing called love exists. And so we need to go back to the blueprint of God. We need to go back to the idea of God and ask God to give us instruction of this thing called marriage, so that it can work. Because for me, I know it can work. Inaweza fanya, inaweza work. By the way, leave this idea ya kwamba it can't work. It can work, but if we go back to God and ask for the instruction, because God is the pioneer of this entity called marriage, this institution called marriage. It is only God who have the blueprint, and it is only God who has the manual. That's why you can't tell me you are buying books the full of shelves in your house because you want to study on how to solve marriage. You will never solve marriage that way. You need to go back to the owner. You need to go back to the pioneer of the marriage. Ask him, how do I have to go forward in this? Because I don't have the idea. You know, there is no science that can tell you how to solve the marriage. Science will tell you, ya kwamba, you know, there is men who are created like women, and they have feelings and emotions, and they want to be married. That's a lie. There are girls who have the feelings, you know, to live with their fellow women and come together, marry each other because their feelings are for each other. That's a lie. That's what science will tell you. But the idea of God is different. It is two components coming together and make one element, one entity, and that is marriage. Thank you. Goodbye for now.